saving money in 2026 might be the reason you're falling behind. Yeah, I know that sounds wrong, because you've been told your whole life, save more, spend less, be responsible. But what if I told you that strategy quietly stopped working? And the worst part, the people who are saving the most might be the ones losing the fastest. But this isn't even the real problem. Saving money won't save you anymore. Not in 2026. And deep down, you already feel it. You're doing everything right. Cutting expenses, skipping things you want, trying to be responsible. But somehow, it still feels like you're falling behind. Like no matter how much you save, it's never enough. And that feeling, it's not random. Because what's happening right now is not what you think. Most people believe they have a spending problem. But what if the real problem is the system you're trying to survive in? Because something quietly changed, and almost nobody noticed. You see, on paper, everything looks normal. Inflation is cooling, markets are stable, jobs still exist, but real life feels heavier, groceries cost more, rent feels tighter, and your savings don't feel safe anymore. That disconnect is the first warning sign, because this isn't just about prices going up, it's about your money losing meaning. And that's where things get dangerous, because when saving stops feeling useful, people start making decisions they don't fully understand. But before we go deeper, there's something even more important you need to see, because this isn't the real problem. The real problem is how slowly this is happening. It's not a crash. It's not a crisis you can point at. It's a silent shift. And those are the most dangerous ones, because you don't react until it's too late. Think about it. You saved $500 this month. Feels good, right? Now fast forward 1 year. That same $500 doesn't buy what it used to, and no one tells you that directly. There's no alert, no warning. Just a slow, constant erosion. And here's where it gets worse. Because it's not just inflation, it's everything stacking together. Higher living costs, slower wage growth, hidden fees, subscription creep, unexpected expenses. And suddenly, saving money feels like trying to fill a leaking bucket. You're putting in effort, but it's not holding. And that frustration, that quiet stress, where you feel like you're doing everything right, but getting nowhere. You're not alone. Millions of people feel this right now, but they can't explain it because they're looking at the wrong problem. So they think, I need to save more. I need to spend less. I need more discipline. But discipline isn't the issue. The environment changed, and nobody updated the rules. But here's the part most people miss. Let's say you saved $10,000. Sounds like progress. But if your cost of living rises faster than your savings, you didn't move forward, you stayed in place, or worse, you moved backward without realizing it. That's the illusion. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. But this still isn't the full picture, because there's something even deeper happening, something most people won't realize until years later. And it's this: the system is no longer rewarding savers the same way. Let that sink in. There was a time when saving money meant security, stability, freedom. But now, saving alone isn't enough to keep up. And that's why it feels useless. Not because saving is wrong, but because it's incomplete. And this is where people split into two groups: those who feel the pressure but don't understand it, and those who see the shift early and adapt. Because while most people are trying to save harder, a smaller group is changing how they think about money entirely. They're not just saving, they're positioning. They're not asking, how do I keep my money? They're asking, how do I stop my money from losing power? And that question changes everything. But before we go further, there's something you need to decide, because most people stay stuck, not because they're lazy, but because they never see the full picture. If you're starting to see it, make sure you're subscribed, because this channel is about what others miss. Now, let's go deeper, because here's the uncomfortable truth. If you rely only on saving, you're playing defense in a system designed for offense. And defense alone doesn't win anymore. Think about it like this. Imagine standing still on a moving walkway going backward. Saving money today is like walking forward slowly, while the system pulls you back. You're moving, but not fast enough. And eventually, that's the exact feeling people have right now. But here's where it gets interesting. Because the smartest people, they're not trying to outsave the system. They're adjusting to it. Some are investing earlier, even in small amounts. Some are building multiple income streams, even if they start tiny. Some are focusing on increasing income, instead of only cutting costs. Not because they're smarter, but because they realized something earlier. Saving protects you, but growth moves you. And without movement, you slowly fall behind. Now, this doesn't mean saving is useless. That's where most people get it wrong. Saving is still important. It gives you stability, breathing room, time to think. But relying only on saving? That's the trap. So what do you actually do? Keep it simple. First, stop thinking of saving as the goal. Think of it as a tool, a buffer, not a solution. Second, focus on increasing your earning power, skills, side income, opportunities, because in this system, income flexibility matters more than strict budgeting. And third, start small with growth. You don't need to take huge risks, but doing nothing is the biggest risk now. Even small steps forward beats standing still. Because here's the big question. What happens if the next few years look exactly like this one? Higher costs, slower progress, more pressure? Would your current strategy still work, or would you slowly fall behind? Without realizing it, that's the question most people avoid. But it's the one that decides everything. Because if you ignore this shift, the long-term impact is brutal. Savings feel smaller every year. Opportunities get harder to catch. Stress builds quietly until it becomes overwhelming. And by the time it becomes obvious, adjusting becomes much harder. That's how people get stuck. Not suddenly, but gradually. And then one day, they realize they've been running in place for years, but the ones who adapt early, they feel it too. But they respond differently. They don't panic. They reposition. They understand that the rules changed, so they change with them. And that's the real difference. Awareness. Because once you see the system clearly, you stop blaming yourself and start making smarter moves. Now, here's the final piece. The reason saving money feels useless in 2026 is not because saving stopped working. It's because the world moved forward. And most strategies didn't. That's the gap. And that gap is where people either fall behind or move ahead. So the question is, which side are you on? Because this isn't something that fixes itself. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to catch up. Most people won't understand what's happening until it's too late. If you want to stay ahead of this shift, don't wait until you feel it. Subscribe now, because the next videos will show you what most people realize too late. And the next shift, it's already happening. You feel stuck.